Hi everybody, this is Quotidian Light, and I am here with a shoe review from Wildlings. So you guys know that they were like the first company that I contacted to see about some sort of sponsorship, and they sent me a pair of shoes in August. And they were much better than I expected. I was pretty stoked because the issue is I have to wear minimalist shoes. If I don't, my feet I get massive pain in my feet and I literally can't walk. So I have to wear minimalist shoes or Birkenstocks. There's one other pair of shoes La Sportiva makes that I actually am planning on picking up for winter. You know the pair of shoes I gave away in Florida? Yeah, I need to repurchase them because the snow is no joke. So I contacted them. I was like, I'm in upstate New York and it's going to be really cold and really snowy. When are your winter shoes coming in? And she gave me the date that they were coming in and she asked me which ones I wanted. And they sent them to me. I'm still not sure if they're going to send me an invoice because I kind of thought that they were going to send me an invoice so I could pay for them, but now I'm not sure. I have to say, I'm really impressed with these. So these are the Wolf shoes, and if you haven't seen the other video, what makes these shoes cool is the fact that they are really minimalist. So if you've looked at like Zero shoes or Vibram Five Fingers or what's the name of the other shoe? Vivo Barefoot. It's kind of along those lines. And if you purchase any shoes from them, use their measurements to figure out your size. And that goes for all minimalist shoes because minimalist shoes fit different than regular shoes. So just because you're a 41 in one shoe does not mean you're going to be a 41 in any of the minimalist shoes. So what I like about these shoes, and the reason why I originally contacted them, is the sole has so much more flexibility than any of the other minimalist brands that I looked at. And originally I thought they only made children's shoes and I was really bummed. And then when I realized they made adult shoes, I was a very happy girl. So this is one of their winter line. It's Wolf. It's made of wool. So it's wool outer and a wool inner, which makes it really warm. The wool is really, really good for wet, damp weather. Like it's snowing right now, and the wool in and of itself kind of repels water, snow. If you are near a wintry area and you wear wool hats and wool sweaters, you know what I'm talking about. Like it'll get wet, but you don't get soaked. And even if you do get soaked, you stay warm kind of situation. That's the benefit of wool. Been working at like the general store, like in every movie in a small town, you know, there's that general store. It's that store. So I work there and I spill stuff on my feet all the time. And these are so pretty that when I wore them to walk to work in the snow, I decided I was going to bring my other pair with me to work because I've been wearing those at work and they're dirty and filthy. And I was like, I don't want these to look like that. But that'll just shed right off too. So I'm really enjoying them in a way that I didn't really expect. I was hoping just to have warmer feet. I didn't expect them to be this comfortable. I actually find them more comfortable than the paper shoes. I also didn't expect them to be this cute. Like, these are really cute boots. If you've been following my Instagram, you've seen pictures of me in these with like my wool socks. That's not a lot of grip on the bottom. So in puffy snow, I'm fine. I'm not having any problem in the snow. I'm not having any problem even on the blacktop where after it snows. But when the snow kind of melts down and then refreezes, I'm a little squiggly. See if maybe a pair of Snap Tracks, I think they're called, will fit on these shoes. They're not really. They're things that go on the bottom of your shoes to give you more grip, but they're not like crampons. They're like for street shoes. I kind of want to see if I can fit a pair of those on these. This bungee is amazing. I just slip my feet in and out really, really easy. The only thing is see these red ones up top? This is so you can get a little bit of extra fit. This does not open up. So the only way to undo this and and string it through here is to actually cut this, because it's sewn with a beautiful little leather toggle. It also came with a pair of shoelaces, so you can take this off entirely and just use laces. But I actually really like this quick draw, like bungee system. My La Sportivas had the same thing, and I love them. But the fact is, if you love this, you can't use these on top. One thing I would say to the company is maybe a little like a design hint. Instead of having these be closed loops on the top, it's like a hook. And that way, if you want to use the bungee, you can just hook it up there and use all of the laces. Even if you want to use the bungee, you don't have to get rid of the bungee and go to laces in order to use that top eyelet. The inside does not have a removable insole like the other Wildlings shoes do, but you can definitely put one in there. They're really, really easy to get on. So, you know, it has a little pull thing. It doesn't feel super strong. So I always grab it like this, and it just slides right on, slides right off, kicks right off. You know, they're just super, super fast shoes to get in and out of. And like I said, they look really cute. They look great with skirts. Am I happy I got them? Very happy. I love these boots. I love them. They're adorable, and they keep my feet really warm, and they're super comfortable, and they let my foot do what my foot wants to do. They're going to pack down really easy. They're very lightweight. They're right now my favorite brand of shoes. I love my Lunas, and I still wear them, even in crazy weather. I wear them all the time. I actually busted the back on this one. So that's going to be fun to fix. I need to just get a little piece of leather and fix it. These are the only sandals I really wear now. And I still love them. But I have to say, I get a lot more freedom of movement in my Wildlings. So, you know, these are considered, you know, really minimalist shoes. These are the thinnest Lunas that they make that have really heavy tread. And look how stiff that is. Now, these are the winter boots. So that's really the difference, you know. I would love to see eventually a pair of Wildlings with a tread, like a real tread. But I think the tread makes them stiff. And so I feel like the combination of having, you know, really having a couple pairs of Wildlings, just shoes and boots, and then having my Luna sandals is my ideal combination for shoes. It has been about a month since I filmed that original review. So when I filmed everything you saw up until this point, I'd had my new Wildlings for a couple weeks, and I was wearing them in the snow and everything. And then, well, I'm an artist, and I got knee deep in a project, and it snowed, and I got sick, and I kept editing that video, but I ended up putting off uploading it because the weather had changed so drastically. I really wanted to see what these shoes would do. It got really bad here. It was 0 and below for like a couple weeks. We had a lot of snow. Just last night we had a ton of snow. You guys know what's been going on. Like, it's colder in New Orleans right now than it is in Saskatchewan, Alaska. Like, the weather is insane. And in upstate New York, the weather has been really crazy. I haven't felt the craziness of it because I've been walking in it every day. My body has adjusted, but the locals that I talk to are constantly saying this is horrible winter. It's really bad. So just to give you an idea of what I've been walking in. So I still walk a couple miles each way to work. But in addition, I've been walking elsewhere. And I wanted to talk more about how these are handling for serious weather walking. I covered it a little bit in the previous, but now I have even more experience. And there's a couple things I want to make sure I mention in this video, which is why I'm glad I ended up putting off uploading it. In addition to walking a couple miles each way to work, I walk to the library. I've been doing a lot of walking, and just recently I walked all the way from Palinville to Saugerties, which after a couple wrong turns ended up being a 9-mile walk, a little over 9 miles, and then I walked another 4 miles back before someone picked me up. So that is a lot of walking in a minimalist shoe. In addition, these have become my work shoes because now I feel really comfortable with them not staining. They don't stain. After 2 weeks of working in my paper shoes, they looked really grungy. Now they came clean. Like those shoes, they come clean super fast. These shoes, I don't even need to wash them. Like if I spill something on them, I get a napkin, I dab it, it comes right off. Part of it's the wool, part of it's the Impregno that I sprayed on it. So if you get these shoes, get the Impregno. I wasn't sure that you would need it, but it's a great, it really is a great like protectant for your shoes, and it's right there on the site. So if you get the Wildlings, make sure you get the Impregno just so that you have it and you don't have to try to find a US equivalent or pay extra shipping to buy it on its own. So, for work, I work 10-hour shifts. That is a lot of time on your feet in minimalist shoes. And I have no problem with foot pain in these shoes. Now, I have put in an insole for my work days. So, for work days or super long walks, I use the Wildlings insole that has the memory foam in it. It's really thin. It's not thick and squishy at all. It's super thin, but it's just enough. It's just enough to like not to give my foot a little bit of cushion just to take the edge off, but it doesn't make my feet do anything weird. It doesn't make my feet act in an abnormal way. It doesn't make my feet hurt at the end of the day. But the other benefit is, you know, these shoes are not entirely weatherproof. They are mostly waterproof. They get damp. They don't get soaking wet though inside. They get damp. And when I go to dry them, one of the things I like is I take out the insole, I hang that up, take the shoe, sit it over here, and even if the shoe isn't entirely dry, the insole is. So, you know, I like that combination for work days. I also like that insole for when I walked the 14 miles the other day. So when I was walking, there was a lot of ice. There was still snow on the sides. I didn't have any problem with slipping. I didn't have any problem with not feeling sure-footed. My feet didn't hurt. I hurt because that was a lot of walking for me, but my feet didn't hurt, which is kind of crazy. You would think that much walking when I haven't done that much walking, that like I figured the next day my whole body would be in pain. And it wasn't. And I actually credit a lot of that with my shoes because I was walking in a really natural way so that I was aligned. And in addition, these shoes give just enough cushion that even though they're super minimalist and they're super flexible, my feet didn't hurt. So that's a benefit. But the most important thing is, and I feel sad saying this, because you guys know I bought these Uggs when I was in Tuba City off a girl on the reservation, and I love them. They're comfortable and they're warm, but they are now slippers. Originally I was wearing them to go grab wood, and sometimes I would be lazy and I would just wear them down the street. And that was when I saw the difference of the Wildlings. And this is why I will never wear regular shoes outside again. In these shoes, I don't slip and fall. I slip and fall in the boots all the time. Doesn't matter if it's icy or just snowy and slippery, I slip and fall. I can't feel the ground. In these shoes, even though they're warm, and even though they're little boots, and even though there's no tread on the bottom, like look at that. That's not a winter tread. That is nothing really to speak of. I don't slip and fall in these shoes. And I think that's because I have much more awareness of where I'm putting my feet. I notice that when I'm lazy and I just go out in my inside slippers, that I can't tell where I'm putting my foot. I can't tell if it's slippery before I put all the weight on it. In these, I can tell. And I notice that I tend to step in areas that are more grippy. I step on more leaves. I step on more sticks. I can feel where the sticks are. I can tell something's slippery before I put all my weight on it and move my foot over. I have a lot of awareness of space in these shoes, which is making up for the lack of tread. I have squiggled a little the first couple weeks, as I mentioned before, as I was getting used to them. In the last month, I have not fallen in these shoes. I'm walking on black ice. I'm walking in snow. I am walking in some pretty treacherous conditions. Like, I walk everywhere, regardless of the weather. And these shoes have been doing the job. Now, for warmth, because you guys know it got 0 and there was gusts of winds and we had a blizzard, okay? And these are not windproof. So when it got that bad, I was wearing my waterproof socks that you see hanging up there, and they are windproof. Those waterproof socks are windproof, but they're not super warm. So I was layering them. But when it's just cold and there's no wind, I just put on a super thick pair of wool hiking socks and I go, and I am fine in these. I'm not, I thought I was going to have to get a pair of winter hiking boots. I thought the pair that I had gotten rid of in Florida, just to have more grip on the way to work because I was a little worried about the ice. And I'm not going to have to. These are my only winter boot. And I'm kind of amazed by that. The only reason why I would get another pair is if I got into really, really serious hiking. Then I would get a pair of those boots because they're great boots. But 14 miles in these, no problem. I can be in the woods, no problem. I grab these faster than anything else. I like these more than the paper shoes. They stay cleaner than the paper shoes. They're warmer than the paper shoes. I just, in general, really like these boots. And after the last month of super extreme weather, I think that their strengths have really shown in a way that they didn't show the first couple weeks. So, you know, if you're thinking about these for winter shoes and you're wondering, can they really handle a winter? Yes, they can. You're going to want to get waterproof socks for the wind, because if you don't, your foot will be cold. You're going to want to get fluffy wool socks for when it's, 0. And know that sometimes you might want to layer in different combinations, but being able to feel where your foot is when it's slippery outside is kind of important in a way that I didn't really understand until I went to go get wood and fell 3 times in one trip. And then I ran outside in these and didn't slip at all. So that is my review of the Wildlings Wolf. If you haven't looked at this brand, I highly recommend it. If you have a pair of Wildlings, please put up a YouTube video, because the reason why I started making these YouTube videos and the reason why I reached out to them is like, there were no adult reviews on Wildlings. And they're such an amazing shoe. It's just, I wish more people knew about them. So if you have a video on Wildlings, if you've worn Wildlings, if you have a child that wears Wildlings, let me know. Ciao.